everyone. I'm Danielle Romano, Managing Editor of Convenience Store News. I'm joined today by Jenny Love Meyer, Executive Vice President and Chief Culture Officer at Love's. Fueling customers' journeys since 1964, Love's is a family-owned and operated business headquartered in Oklahoma City with nearly 40,000 team members in North America and Europe. The company's core business is travel stops and convenience stores with 642 locations in 42 states. For Love's, which came in at number 1 on Indeed's list of Better Work Awards in 2023, maintaining an inclusive and diverse workplace is a hallmark of the company's award-winning culture. Love's commitment to inclusion and diversity is continually being strengthened through initiatives such as culture tours, employee resource groups, and community partnerships. Jenny, thank you for being here with me today and for sharing more about Love's investment to inclusion and diversity.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Happy to be here, Danielle.
Thanks. All right, so let's get started. So the first question I had is, what makes Love's company culture award-winning, and why is having a strong company culture so important?
So our company culture really was started, not only the organization, but also the culture was really started by my dad. Though he passed away last year, we're really, the whole organization really driven by a culture of respecting and taking care of each other. And so there's a couple things that go into this. One is that the culture is lived not only by top leadership, but also by everyone else in the organization. So it's not just something we put on a wall and kind of point to it. It's something that is driven by everyday actions. And importantly, as I said, driven by not only family, but senior leadership and leadership throughout the organization, as well as team members, to continue to sustain it with an organization of really almost 40,000 folks.
And so I understand that company executives routinely go on culture tours to gather feedback from field employees. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so as we think about our culture and really the importance of keeping it alive, there's really a lot that goes into that. We really feel like, as a family-owned business, that we have a differentiator in a way that we can really scale and sustain a culture that really should be the North Star, should be that foundational element for everybody in the organization, both now and 5 or 10 years from now. And so given that, the way that we approach team members, especially given that the reality is, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, my dad literally could go out and hop in a car and visit all the locations. Well, fast forward to today, the way that we approach team members and be able to hear from them has to change, given that we're at 642 locations and growing. And so as we think about that, one of the things that we devised was really called culture tours. And really, it's a different way that I can go out and visit with team members across the organization. And so really, it's purely a means of getting to a little bit of a structured setting wherein they let me know, hey, this is my idea, or how could Love's do this? And really, it's a way, a path forward so that everybody can think about ways to improve the business. Here are some suggestions. These are the folks that are close to the customer, so naturally, I think they're the ones that would have ideas on how to make the things better for the customer, but also how to make the organization better.
How does inclusion and diversity factor into Love's award-winning culture?
Importantly, this really is something that when we talk about respecting folks and bringing them into the organization and having a great work environment, this is not something that's new to Love's. This is really something that really to all extents my dad did when he started the organization. And so We're just putting more structure to it and looking at that. But I think it does tie back to respect. When we do that, and whether it's at a store level or at one of our offices, we're able to really elevate that person's experience, be able to have them be comfortable in their work environment. And really, it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I love that. Can you highlight some of Love's most valuable I&D initiatives to date?
Yeah, a couple of things that come to mind really in terms of I&D initiatives are that we recently became more purposeful in hearing from groups within Love's. We talked about the culture tours, but this really standing up employee resource groups as a way to really hear from groups that are traditionally called underrepresented. So a women's ERG, a Black ERG, and a veterans ERG. And so the as we think about this again, recently stood this up, but really as a way to elevate the respecting part of what we're doing within Loves. And so excited about those, but knowing that it's one part of our I&D journey.
I understand your I&D efforts extend outside of the company and into the community as well. Can you talk about some of these programs?
Yeah, sure. So Loves is fortunate to be able to give back to the community, both in Oklahoma City, but really nationwide. And so we'll talk about a few things that we've done. And what I would say, first of all, is that we made these decisions really based on the fact that they made sense. And the organizations are doing a fantastic job. And so the first one that we announced this spring is a donation and contribution to OU softball. And for those listeners that may not be quite as aware of softball, I'd say that OU softball really is one of the winningest programs in softball history. That they've so far in 2024 they've earned 7 national championships and plenty of conference championships, et cetera, et cetera. One of the things as we got to know the team was being their way of operating both on and off the field, and the values alignment with Love's, pardon the pun, strikingly similar. And so that became really something that we really started to notice, and that was one of the prime drivers of our decision to give the $12 million gift towards Love's Field, one of the largest philanthropic gifts that's been given to women's sports. But also the way that we've been able to elevate women's athletics through this donation. And so really the facility is comparable to men's sports, and I think that this is something that has gotten noticed nationally and will continue to do so, and we help kind of snowballs into other programs. The other piece that we also announced this spring was the Love Family Women's Center at Mercy Hospital, really a 200,000 square foot facility that they're able to better serve and be able to serve more women, so doubling their capacity, and women that are having babies in the care. There's kind of a multifaceted care therein. 2 other things. One is our years-long partnership with Urban League. And so this has been a partnership here in the Urban League of Oklahoma City that's been happening for decades long. Special organization here, and happy to do that. And then for our 60th anniversary, we're doing a special donation to Donors Choose. And so this is really something that Donors Choose is kind of a platform, a website where teachers can go on and order supplies, things they need for the classroom, that sort of thing. And so we're able to, with this year's donation, we're able to donate $60,000 to Donors Choose, and that'll fund 188 school projects at Oklahoma City area schools. And so happy and thrilled to be able to do that.
Wow, those are all very exciting initiatives and such a wonderful way to give back to the communities that you serve.
Thanks.
In your experience, what has the return on investment been from your inclusion and diversity efforts?
Yeah, it's interesting. Couple things. I mean, people talk about ROI a lot, rightly so. And I think what a lot of companies are realizing is that it's hard to tie an ROI directly to I&D. A lot of times people talk about metrics and numbers. And for us, we really think that it goes back to how we cultivate that culture statement of respecting and taking care of each other. And so how we're bringing on folks to the organization, great people, and enabling them to be their best selves at work. There's ways that we can tie back to that, but ultimately we're more focused on the outcome as opposed to the metrics that get us there. And that's helped us be successful for 60 years. I fully am optimistic and know that we'll be able to get there and be able to be successful on our I&D journey, same as we've done with other parts of the business.
That's great. Great. Thank you. Last question. Looking into the future, where do you see the company's inclusion and diversity journey going from here?
Yeah, so I would say really, given that, again, the organization spread across 42 states plus Europe, almost 40,000 folks and growing. And it's really continued education amongst our employees about I&D awareness. So what Love's I&D means for them and the expectations of really everybody in the organization, as well as staying really laser focused on the attracting great talent and bringing them onto the team through strategic recruiting.
Great. Thank you, Jenny. Those are all the questions that I had. Again, thank you so much for chatting with me today and sharing Love's journey and your experience.